The story begins with a post-apocalyptic world where everything has been destroyed. Then the emergency alarm rings, after which everyone starts running and hiding. Then we are shown those monsters from whom everyone is scared. Monster races have crossed the dimensional gate and entered the human world. In the midst of all this chaos, we are shown the protagonist of the story who is watching everything from a tall building. And when a monster is about to kill a child, he saves the child's life by killing the building-size monster in one punch, and now all the other monsters come there after hearing the sound. He was just taking the child to a safe location when suddenly a monster attacks him and all the other monsters also come there, whom he easily defeats. Then comes a monster who was the biggest of them all, and this time the protagonist had to face some difficulties, but he defeated him too in the end. Then there comes the monster boss who was very different and powerful from the rest of the monsters. And they approach to fight on seeing each other. And at the same time we come to know that all these monsters are after our protagonist and he is the reason behind all this. We are shown a scene from 8 months back when our protagonist, Hanero, was 19 years old and he didn't know about his powers yet. He was an outcast and some students used to bully him very badly because he was a transfer student. Hanero was very weak and he takes some pills daily, then those bullies drop his pills and start beating him. The bullies were making fun of her being an orphan, which makes Hanero very angry, but then Lee Luna comes there, who is Hanero's classmate, and she is also very pretty. The bullies didn't want to look bad in front of Lee Luna. Seeing him they leave from there. Hanero leaves from there without saying anything. Troubled by all these bullies, he stands on the roof of the school and is thinking about his past and his grandmother, when Young comes there and is scared to see him standing and tries to get him down from there. Young is the only one who talks to Hanero when they are alone, otherwise they would bully him too. Hanero comes back to his class where some students are looking at an image in which they had mistakenly captured a photo of a demon while taking photos on their trip, but no one believes it. At night the same demon comes out and we learn that he is looking for a key. Nero hides his injury from his grandmother, but she comes to know that Nero is being bullied in the school. That monster kills a delivery guy, wears his skin and takes his form and comes to Nero's apartment. Nero is taking a bath at that time. The monster attacks grandmother on seeing her and grandmother dodges her, and we come to know that she is a powerful mage, and without Hanero knowing she kills that monster, and she also heals her wounds. The next day while running, Hanero collapses and sees a dream in which a man escapes from someone and enters a portal. Nero wakes up and finds himself in the nurse's room. Every time Hanero faints he sees the same dream. He calls his grandmother, who asks him to pack her stuff, but he comes to know that his grandmother is running away from someone. And this is not the first time that Hanero has to change schools. Hanero was very weak, because of this Hanero used to be bullied a lot. At night we see that this time many monsters come out and come back again in the form of delivery guy. The dogs start barking at them, due to which the grandmother comes to know in advance and she quickly sends Hanero to school. He gets surprised to see so many delivery guys while going out. He gets suspicious but he ignores and moves on. Nero is about to leave when he sees a delivery guy falling from above. He panics thinking about his grandmother and runs upstairs, but as the lift is not working he goes through the stairs. And on the other hand, his grandmother is single-handedly fighting so many monsters, yet she was overpowering them. Only then do we see a special type of monster who calls her as Sana, and they knew each other. He tells Sana that it's useless to hold on. Soon the king's troops will come. They start fighting and he asks her to give him the key. Sana asks him about the king, then Nero comes at the door and Sana lets her guard down, and taking advantage of that, the monster attacks Sana. And now that monster also comes to know that Hanero is the key, due to which Sana gets very angry and kills him. But a monster had taken Hanero hostage. It threatens to kill him. Due to this Sana gets angry, but that monster cuts one of her hands off. After that Nero tries to bite that monster, then that monster slams him against the wall. Sana tries to help Hanero, but the monster kills Sana when he gets the chance. Hanero tries to attack, but the monster kills him first. But Sana was not dead yet. She becomes furious and killed that monster. Nero gets the same dream again, but this time it was very detailed. We are shown a battlefield where a war is going on between monsters and humans. We again see the same human running away. This is Sana, who is running away from the battlefield with Nero. A woman asks Sana to take care of Nero and Sana jumps into the portal with Nero. Nero hears someone's voice in his dream that says, "Don't die, Nero." Nero remembers that he has heard this voice somewhere. After that, Nero starts thinking about an incident in his past where he was beating a kid because he was telling him, "You don't have a mom." That kid's mother comes there and scolds Nero and goes away, and Nero starts crying there. Sana starts crying seeing Nero in this situation. Sana was the head guard and she locked Nero's powers to save Nero. Now seeing Nero in the face of death, Sana decides to return Nero's powers back to him. All the vitality she had left she puts it into Nero's body. And with that Nero's powers start getting back, but sadly, this was the end of Sana's life. She says her last goodbye to Nero. And by the time Nero wakes up, Sana was already gone. It's been 1 month since then. We are shown a police station. Nero has been continuously searching for Sana for the past month. And the officer there also gets annoyed by his repeated visits to the police station. No one believes the words of Nero. Nero makes a sketch of that monster and shows it to the officer. The officer thinks that Nero is playing a prank on him and the officer gets angry. Nero comes back disappointed from there. Nero inquires around, but no one knows anything about it and there is no record on CCTV also. Now he also thinks maybe it was not real, but one thing is for sure, his grandmother disappeared. The next day he goes to school for the first time in a month. The principal assures him that he would try to stop any kind of rumors from spreading. Young was standing outside the principal office. Only then does Nero feel that someone is watching him. And the rest of the students in the school field are talking about how Nero's whole vibe has changed. He looks stronger and different than before. Nero again feels like someone is watching him. Later he again feels the same presence behind him. This time he tries to find out secretly. Turns out it was Lee Luna. She asks him why he doesn't take his medication anymore. Even Nero himself hadn't realized until now. He hears something and runs away without saying anything. He ran because he heard those bullies coming. Lee Luna was happy for him. Coming home, Nero sees Luna working at a convenience store which was near his house. He thinks of saying hello to her, but after realizing what had happened earlier, he decides to ignore her. But he stops to help an old lady in need. At the same time, 2 of his bullies also arrive there for cigarettes. Luna asks for their ID and declines to sell cigarettes to a minor. He threatens her and leaves the store. They try to get that old lady to buy cigarettes for them, and when she doesn't agree they start messing up her possessions. When Nero sees them, he asks them to stop bothering her. They mock him for his bravado. When Nero sees what they had done to that old lady's belongings, he becomes furious. They take him to an isolated place to beat him while one of them was keeping watch. As they start beating him, he gets angrier and angrier, and finally reaching his limit, he snaps and breaks his leg. His eyes start glowing and he runs away from there. Nero himself was in shock after what happened. Then he realizes these things started happening to his body since the day when the monsters attacked his house. The next day at school, everyone was talking about the incident that got one of the bullies hospitalized. The other bully who was with him that day comes to Nero and starts shouting at him that how because of him his friend is now in the hospital. Nero apologizes for that, but he gets even more furious. Young tries to calm him down, but that bully threatens to kill him and Nero again snaps. Seeing him in that state again, he realizes last night wasn't a trick. He gets scared by him and walks away. During a night he goes to a rooftop of a factory and tries to find out if he is really strong. He tries to lift a heavy metal object, but he wasn't able to lift it. As he was about to give up, he notices that he was able to bend the iron metal. So, he tries to lift it again, and this time he was able to lift it. The next day the bully comes to school with his broken leg. He was scared of Nero and tries to not cause any scene. During lunchtime, Sangsuan, the bully, offers Luna to eat lunch with him, but she ignores him and goes to eat with Nero and even shares her lunch with him. Everyone starts wondering if they are dating. Sangsuan becomes furious and starts his own friend for getting beaten up by a loser. During their argument, Luna comes there and challenges Sangsuan if he is not scared, then prove it by defeating Nero in a one-on-one fight. At first, he ignores it, but when Luna pushes him a little further, he agrees to the challenge. Everyone was excited about the match. Everyone was there, not expecting Nero to really show up, but when he shows up, everyone starts saying that he has gone insane. Sangsuan was confident that he would win. So, he lets Nero get the first hit. He hadn't even finished his sentence yet and Nero punches him, knocking him unconscious, and says, "Get up, it hasn't even started."